The Court of Azathoth. At the true center of everything lies a place that isn't a place. An endless furnace of blind, boiling chaos where a god sleeps, and the universe survives only because he does. The Court of Azathoth isn't built of stone or sky. It has no ground, no horizon, no direction. It's pressure and vibration, a relentless droning like distant flutes that never stop. Matter forms and falls apart in the same breath. Time arrives late, collapses early, and forgets it was here at all. Prayers don't rise here. There's nothing to hear them. Azathoth doesn't rule this court. He isn't even aware of it. He is sleep-given mass, a dream so heavy it becomes everything we mistake for reality. If he stirs, rules fail, geometry folds, breath forgets how to move. Cities and histories don't burn, they simply stop, as if a page was ripped out and no one remembers the missing chapter. Approaching the court doesn't bring you closer. It removes the part of you that understands distance. The terror is simple. There is no intention, no malice, no plan. Only a sleeping center that will erase everything the way a hand wipes chalk from a board, completely and without noticing. The Nameless Mist. The Nameless Mist isn't fog. It's unfinished reality. You don't arrive there by traveling. You slip into it when the basic ideas that keep you together, memory, identity, direction, lose traction. Shapes appear and collapse before you can name them. The air feels warm and smooth, like touching skin in the dark and not knowing whose. Time won't hold still. Moments bleed together as if edges were never invented. In some tellings, gods were born here, or the thought of gods, which might be worse. Worship fails because worshippers don't stay stable long enough to kneel. Your face feels like a draft. Your voice moves, molts, and echoes from a place you just left. Even left stops making sense as paths inhale and exhale around you, making new corridors where none existed. You reach for yourself and nearly catch your own hand, except it isn't your hand anymore. Somewhere far away, someone says your name, and the letters step off like small animals, tugging you toward a softer erasure. Fighting only hardens what breaks faster. The mist doesn't attack, it edits. If you come back, you won't be sure you did. You'll pass for yourself, but your outline won't fit like it used to. The darkness, Magnum Tenebris. The darkness is older than stars and uninterested in light. Descending into it feels like walking off the map of what light remembers. Lamps gutter and fold inward. Not blown out, just reconsidered. Edges won't meet. Floors feel like guesses your boots keep repeating. You speak your name as if it were a rope, but the sound falls forever and never hits bottom. No echo, no reply, only a patient stillness that agrees with everything you're too tired to deny. Time slackens. Watches tick, but nothing happens in between. Minutes bleach into blank sheets until even fear can't find a face to wear. The pressure isn't hostile, it's indifferent. It presses outward from every side, shaping you into a smaller idea of yourself. Words dry up. Breathing continues on habit. You try to mark the place, a thought tied to a whisper, a private landmark, and later find it dusted with years you somehow missed. Nothing anchors. Prayers look for ceilings and find none. The darkness offers a different promise. Not death, not peace, but the possibility of everything that hasn't been born yet, waiting without urgency. The worst part isn't the night. It's how easily you agree to it. The ultimate void of Daoloth. If Daoloth shows you anything, it's how naive space really is. First, there's a physical tremor under your boots, like metal remembering a storm. Then the curtain lifts. Axes multiply, angles refuse to stay at 90, and depth turns inside out to reveal corridors between moments. You look for a railing that was never there, because peels back like old paint and exposes earlier layers that still insist on being true. Touch one, and futures adjust their posture to watch you. Counting fails. Numbers breed more numbers, and every sum opens another room. Eyes appear at the wrong coordinates. Left becomes behind. Forward relocates to a direction you've never used. Closing them doesn't help. The void hums like machinery and sings like a diagram, teaching relations without nouns or names. Lines overlap without touching. Paths meet without existing together. Choose anything and it chooses you back, rewriting the choice as you make it. Memory can't compress this without discarding the keys it needs later. Recollection rebuilds the scene wrong and only then writhes closer to true. Daoloth doesn't attack you. Revelation does. You don't leave with answers, only the permanent suspicion that your map was never the territory. The Black Seas of Infinity. The Black Seas aren't water, and they aren't space. Think of a skin stretched over nothing, with stars bubbling on the surface. Below that film lies an abyss without bottom or shore. Light moves reluctantly here, bending and slowing like an animal dragged by a chain. Sound peels away first. Weight loosens next. You float on invisible tides that hum in languages older than decay. Time twitches like a drowned body. Mechanical, sporadic, wrong. Minutes stretch, then collapse into blanks without temperature or texture. Stories say souls drift here after death, thinning grain by grain until even the idea of shape lets go. You can swim up, but there is no up. Close your eyes and the seas seep behind your eyelids, telling you something you suspected. You were hollow and now you know it. Overhead the stars look like scabs. Some will break and bleed warmth, but you won't notice. The seas don't punish or forgive, they don't judge. They erase quietly like tides pulling footprints smooth. The terror isn't violence, it's relief. The burden of being lifts, one ripple at a time, and it feels almost merciful until you realize mercy requires someone to grant it. The outer monstrous vortex. Past the last familiar structures, reality frays into a rotating wound. Old fragments call it the outer monstrous vortex, the rim where the universe stops pretending to be stable. Distances shear like shattered mirrors. Reflections keep showing up where nothing should be. Matter converts into intention, and then into something like wire under tension. Gravity unspools into threads and ties itself into knots that snarl time. Moments arrive before their causes. Effects wait around, angry and unclaimed. Ships that skim the edge report hulls turning to chronological mist. Logs end mid-letter, mid-breath, as if sentences couldn't decide where they started. Energy tears itself apart faster than physics can protest, then slows to an ember that remembers being a scream. Heartbeats hesitate. Voices come back in earlier versions of you. Only the outer gods ride this weather, curling inward like stone serpents, watching without interest. You can look away, but it won't make distance real again. Names don't help. Prayers don't stick. The vortex keeps turning, and you keep scattering into probabilities that never settle. Eventually, you aren't yes or no. You're maybe. And then even maybe loses track. The outside. Outside isn't a direction. It's a verdict. When you step into it, structure softens. Buildings remember water. Names sag and slide off the things they're trying to hold. Your outline loosens like heat passing through bone. Joints relocate. Taste turns into color. Pain becomes a polite echo that belongs to somebody else. Hallways ripple without moving, and doors open inward and sideways at the same time. Walk through one and you exit your shadow. Mirrors prefer your future tense. Windows show anatomy instead of scenery. Nothing here is cruel, it's simply editing you the way a river edits stone. Slowly, without intention, and completely. You don't bleed, you settle. Fingers bud like branches. Eyes learn new jobs. People beside you keep talking, but their sentences grow doors. Some words step through and don't come back. Fighting makes you brittle. Softness survives. If you return, you'll pass for yourself, but things around you won't sit right. The house leans. The name tastes wrong. The world accepts you anyway, and that's somehow worse. The Azathoth Singularity. If the court is sleep and erosion, the singularity is ignition. Heat gathers behind your teeth like a storm charge, and at the center of all centers, a point widens until it holds every elsewhere and every never. Here, beginnings don't wait to be chosen. They detonate. Time, space, and the idea of cause spill out like molten foam and cool into stars, laws, and brief mercies. We are the overspray. The point doesn't think. It erupts, and the dream sets itself on fire. Calendars tremble beside it. Measurement leaks around the edges. Prophets draw circles, hoping the center will mistake them for a center. It never does. There are no eyes here. Only vectors widening with soft violence until worlds pop into shape like patient bubbles. One day, the dream may stir the other way, and the spray will boil backward into nothing. Laws will curdle into a single sound that erases itself as it's spoken. Breath will misremember its job. Cities will fold like wet maps. Names will tear along their creases and feel relieved. This isn't collapse. It's memory running hot. Creation remembered so intensely that everything has to happen again or stop forever.
Subscribe for more interesting stuff. Tell us your experience in the comments.